If you click this video at one point away, then please tell me what the reason for it was so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I am trying to learn political science today, the dilemma of modern man, and after we've done that, we're gonna do squat training. And if you participate in the squat training, then is that at your own risk? We read that whole thing in the last 2 or 3 parts, and now we're gonna go over it again. And we try to gather information together for a presentation with the title Industrialization to Post-Industrialization or something. Now, the book is from the 70s and it is a British book, and we're just going to go over it and try to understand it and try to gather information together for on presentation. The idea of modernity is key factor in the world today. It stands for industrialization, training in science and technology, proper administration, and the full range of social and medical services. Okay, industrialization, a lot of education in science and technology, proper government administration, and social and medical services. On the whole, people want to move forward. Any check on economic growth is regarded as a disaster. Only some of those in the wealthiest societies now believe that the drawbacks of modernity may be beginning to outweigh its gains. Members of the Western middle classes, for instance, are worrying about the balance of nature and pollution. People in the poorer countries, however, see the smoke and affluence of industry as signs of progress. So basically all people want to move modernization. Proper governments, social and medical services, industrialization, and education, so training in science and technology. Most people want to move there, and also most people in the regions where this modernization was already reached. But some people starting to think that the negative things, the consequences, are outweighing the positive things. For example, smoke and pollution is too bad for the nature. Balance of nature and pollution. There are limitations to this upward process. One is the growth of population. In India and South America is the rise in population. The rise in population cancels out a proportion of increasing output. In 1955, the population of India was 386 million. 20 years later, it had reached 586 million. It can be also that the rise to modernity is slowed down because of the rising population. India, for example, almost doubled within 30 years. While the present-day technology can deliver death on an enormous scale, advances in medicine are freeing children from infant mortality and disease. As a result, young, hungry populations pour into the towns, making every problem worse. The services cannot cope, neither can the old values and beliefs. Saying that the first thing was that human beings are able now from the 40s on to make weapons which kill basically everyone on the world, and also the medicine has at the same time improved, and so the infant mortality has gone down, has decreased, and many people are moving into the towns, and some problems which were there getting no worse because there are now more people by the fact. Political rallying cries. People grasp at political myths to restore a sense of community and explain the misery. Marxism claims to provide the explanation and the hope, while nationalism gives cultural identity and solidarity against foreign exploiters. Both nationalism and Marxism work on the same principle as early capitalism. They stress the need for hardship and discipline in work now in order to achieve prosperity later. Okay, we're going to say maybe something of it. It would be what they said here. They said that the great number of people coming into cities and aggravating there some of the problems which were there are causing in the politics two ideas. One of them is, for example, Marxism, which provides an explanation why now poverty is happening, and I hope that it gets better. Another direction is nationalism, which gives the people cultural identity after so many people have moved together, and also solidarity against foreign exploiters. All developing countries, capitalist or otherwise, are run by elites which demand sacrifices from the population for the sake of the future. I understand it better than the first time when I read it, but I still am not able to explain it with my own words, or what we now exactly mean with it. Another limitation on progress is the rundown of energy resources. Demand for fossil fuels stokes inflation in the industrial societies which depend on them, and hence power and wealth to the elites which control these resources in places like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi and Libya. Okay, we're going to say that the industrialization has a lot of resources to run with the industry, and that causes that a lot of money is paid to the people who are controlling these ground resources in other countries like Libya or Iran or Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. Poorer countries in the third world wield influence by threatening to alter the balance. 1/3 of the world's people lives in industrial societies. Sales of the American giant General Motors in the year 1970 exceeded the entire gross national products of countries such as Egypt, Greece and Yugoslavia. Okay, and some firms are getting that big that they're selling things for which was more paid than other countries having in total in a whole year together. Paid for things. While the rest of the globe is striving to become industrialized, the developed 1/3 is rapidly moving towards post-industrialization. This describes the condition of a society increasingly founded on technology and on the intellectual abilities of its people. Up to now, industrial society has been based on the manufacture of goods, just as the earlier industrial stage was founded on the extraction of raw materials. The first stage of industrialization was based on extraction of raw materials, coal and so on, and then the main one about manufacturing of goods. And now some countries moving towards post-industrialization that is more about technology and the intellectual abilities of the people. Theoretical knowledge is an asset which can never be used up. It can belong to the whole community, and the search for it cannot benefit one person exclusively. So resources are provided by governments and public institutions such as universities. A professional class founded on such knowledge grows up and edges out the entrepreneurs and blue-collar workers, the classes based on manufacturing. There's now a new class happening, the class basically on education, on university, a part of blue-collar workers and entrepreneurs. This new class rises through the educational system and through the merit acquired by means of certificates and expertise. Post-industrial society, the term was coined by a Harvard sociologist Daniel Bell, requires more and more services in the form of health, education, welfare, agencies, research, computers and system analysis. Bell argues that the character of the fight to life alters. It is no longer a game against nature or a game against the fabricated nature of machinery, but a game between persons. Okay, that is an important thing to mention. There is an argument, for example, by Daniel Bell, who says that the people are not fighting against nature, with resources and that we live, but against other people. Who has learned more, who is better in the educational merit achieving. In the West, new professions and skills proliferate with the growth in size of complexity of modern industry. The corporate guilds and family concerns of the past have been supplanted by private and state firms. Business and trade associations and bodies representing producers and consumers. The people don't have themselves a business running, they are working for a big firm. The Department of Labor in the United States of America has defined more than 20,000 occupations. Some of these demand abilities and knowledge that can take up to 10 years to acquire. Others require less education, and it is in these that movement from job to job is most frequent. These occupations employ the casual laborers and foreign workers who are important to the economies of Germany and the United States of America. There are many different occupation types. Some require years to work for. And so there's this necessary now that many people are working basically on sustaining these people who don't work. That was one thing. Okay. I don't know what was it. The people of post-industrial society are less tied to the natural rhythms of the seasons and the relentless rhythm of machines with their predecessors, but this does not tie them more closely to each other. Okay, they are dependent on the seasons for agriculture when there's a new sound made, whatever it's called, when there's new planting made in spring, and also not the machineries in post-industrial. But where people don't grow together more. The reason for this is increasing mobility. People can holiday in Spain, go driving over the weekend, commute to town and to business by intercity rail. They also move house when work or more money become available elsewhere. So relationships are made only in passing and there's little sense of community. So the people are not dependent on the rhythm of nature, when to plant, when to sow, when to bring the harvest in, and also not on the machines when they work. They are having an increased mobility. So the sense of solidarity and of togetherness gets a bit lost because the people just move into another town if there's an occupation which gives them more money. Okay, we don't have time left. We're going to continue the next part of the reading through it. I don't know how we should remember it all while reading through it. You're going to need another 20 minutes to read the last 4 things here. On the other hand, remember it. That means we're going to continue the next part with the reading on and trying to remember already what we already had so we don't have to read it again. In an endless cycle of reading and remembering. That means if you were here for political science, you can go directly to the next part of political science if you stay here and participate in the squat training, then it's väldigt honest. Det bringar man lägga. And we have one. And take one leg at the ankle. Straight back, knee to the ground. One leg out to the side, the torso pointing forward, we're stretching the inner side of the leg. Over to the other side. And go from side to side. Now 12 squats. Legs wide apart and go down to the first one. And to the second one. And on number 3. And 4 and 5, one more, and then we half, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, and the last 3, 10, 11, and to the last one, number 12. Now the 6 back squat squeeze, down into quarter squat, and press against the top of the leg on one side, and on the other side. Down into half squat and press in the middle of the leg. And on the other side. Down into 3/4 squat and press close to the knee. And on the other side. And up. And now the fastest giraffe of the water pond exercise. Down into 3/4 squat. Press against the knee and go towards it again. Press, go towards it, press, go towards it, again press, go towards it, again press, and go towards it. And the last exercise. Down into full squat, arms to the sides, over to one side, press against the leg and look up to the head. Little over to the other side, press, look up. One leg up. The other one. Legs wide apart, breathing out. Breathing out. In and close the legs. And breathing out. That was squat training. Thank you very much, and until next time.